So the four people didn't hear any of our stuff, right?
They
No.
were on. I don't, they're in the waiting room. I'm sure they heard us.
Okay. So just to repeat, we don't have a quorum, so we will not be holding our meeting this evening. However, um, at the end of our traditional meetings, we have a 3-minute time where those who attend the meeting, if they have something to say, they may do so. And so we're going to go right to that part of the meeting right now. So, Steph, can we tell who was on? And
Yes. We have Aaron, Ken Silva, Mackenzie, and Mark and Tris are on.
okay,
Would anyone like to speak? If you could raise your hand.
come on, folks.
Ken Silva said, I was hoping to just get an update on the 4 Pittsburgh cops who attended the Butler Trump rally.
Mr. Silva, we do have an open inquiry investigation into that entire incident. There was no discipline issued, although there was initially a demotion to some of the senior officers that were on scene. But I believe that those have been grieved. So they would be going forward through the grievance process with the city. And they're all fine. Those that were injured were, they were not serious injuries. There is, of course, an issue about we're still trying to determine how did they get there in the first place? Who authorized them to go and attend and participate in that rally? And the other side of that is, of course, for the people that were injured at that rally, they were fortunate to have our officers there to help them. But as far as protocol goes, there remains a question as to who authorized their presence at that rally. It's not unusual for Pittsburgh motorcycle officers to provide escorts, but they were there for the whole thing. So we're trying to understand that better. We don't have an answer for that yet.
Any other folks?
No, Mark and Tris said hi and hope to see you next time. Hoping
Yeah,
to be at the meeting. And Ken said thank you.
That'd be great. We haven't seen the Ozarks in almost 4 years now. So it'd be wonderful
right.
if you guys could come
Right.
into City Chamber. We'd love to see you.
I've seen them at a couple community events.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Gershio, there is another comment here from Aaron, who is a guest this evening. And his comment is that he just came on to see how this meeting was set up. He would like to implement something like this in Arnold. If I may respond to that, Aaron, thanks for coming tonight. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but sometimes these things happen when members can't get here and we don't form a quorum. You have a problem down in Arnold right now, and I certainly sympathize and understand why you would like to have some kind of civilian oversight there. If we can be of assistance to you, we'd be happy to help. You can give us a call. Our office number is 412-765-8023. And we can arrange to either come out and visit with you. You could come in, or we could meet somewhere in between, have a cup of coffee and talk about what you perceive your needs to be. And we could talk about some of the technical issues that come about when there's a formally organized oversight mechanism, such as here in Pittsburgh, and in some other models where there's essentially a community group affiliated or non-affiliated to some other known established community group that takes on the responsibility for engaging, establishing a relationship with the local police, and then trying to work through some mutual agreements that would enable the community folks to have input to the local police department's operations. There are lots of models across the country that we'd be happy to share with you, and perhaps we could give you a hand out there. Be happy to. And again, thanks for coming, Aaron.
We could put the number in the chat just in case you might need it. Thanks.
Mackenzie has her hand up. She would like to speak.
Sure. Mackenzie, please do.
Hi, hello. My name is Mackenzie Fangman, they, them. I am a community organizer with Voice of Westmoreland and also a friend of Erin who is here tonight from the city of Arnold. I am also here to try to make connections and to understand the process of starting a community review board for the police because of the aforementioned issues in Arnold. And I just wanted to communicate that I also had interest in meeting with you fine folks and discussing the logistics of getting something like this started, what it all entails, and things of that nature. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I'm sorry that the regular meeting isn't happening because I was very curious.
Thank you for coming.
I was going to say, again, thank you for coming, and Executive Director Pittenger will put our phone number in the chat just in case you didn't get it before. Oh, it's in there. Thanks, Steph.
You're welcome.
I would also add, the October 22nd meeting, we will go over these things that are important to our processes and the way that it works, and the way that our home charter requires us to operate. And I think that would be very beneficial for everybody to attend as well, so that you can hear that, Mackenzie. So that's something that would be worth your while as well.
And again, if you hadn't heard, we will be streaming it that evening. We will be on our in-person meeting in October. Pittsburgh City Council building, or City County building, in Chambers. I believe that's the 5th floor, right? That's, my memory serves me correct. All right, is there any?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else in the chat?
Dr. Gershio, if I could just offer to our guests another resource that you might want to look at, and that's the National Association for Civilian Oversight of Law Enforcement. The acronym is NACOLE. And you probably want to put a .org after that, where you're going to get some interesting marginalized sites at Nicole. But the site itself was created, gosh, I'm thinking maybe 27 years ago, thereabouts. And it has a whole lot of information related to the various civilian oversight models across the country, the entities that do exist, what their practice standards are in terms of the model, whether they're creation of a local piece of legislation, such as an ordinance, if they are created in the equivalent of a home rule charter, such as in the city of Pittsburgh, how they operate, what their composition is, some of them have oversight of the internal affairs activities of police departments. Some are part of the internal affairs. They'll put a civilian in and say that's civilian oversight. But there's a whole lot of information there that might be of interest to you as you're considering what you can do out there in your town. It's NACOLE.org.
I did enter it into the chat for you, Beth.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty. No more questions out there? Again, we apologize for not having a quorum, but hopefully we will see everybody in October. Have a good evening.